I am here in Mither Person's game, and I am here to do the small details because he updated the game a bit. He added a bridge, and the bridge takes me to a strange person. Who are you? What is your quest, strange person? The thing I realized when it comes to audio, if I make noises, it hurts a lot more than it does with normal noises. There's nothing you can really do about stopping those noises other than not making any noises, but I have to keep doing those noises because it's part of the voice function. There are no current big events that are going on, so I find it would be easier to learn about these guys' past a bit more and look around in their games and make an analysis on it. These chains, he doesn't remember what these chains are, so I can make whatever I want out of these chains. These people, their only purpose is to die, and who in the world is that? Who is that?
Is this me? But my quest isn't to die.
These people, their only purpose is to die. They probably haven't. They're at that point of life where they want to die, but they can't die because society won't let them die. We have pillars, decoration, and we have a water, which if you jump into it, you'll be kicked from the game because you have forgotten. This person is Veclores' objective, I think. Veclores has to save this person who has fallen into the water and has forgotten everything. Veclores has amnesia, and Nerlwind has amnesia too, but not as much amnesia as Veclores does. Veclores has to find all 4 shards of his past to be able to save the princess, who will give him the legendary item known as the 20% dollars off McDonald's chicken nuggets. Hang on, what if he was a vegan? Oh, don't worry, we got that covered. You can trade those chickens in for the kids' apple thing you get in the Happy Meals. Those apples aren't even real, and they're coated with sugar. I shouldn't know, that's only a rumor. Veclores has 2 shards of his memory unlocked. One of them is a radio, and I will listen to the radio. Hello! I turned the audio on so I could hear you, radio. Play something. Beep beep boop bop boop beep boop bop beep boop. You don't work. You look at the radio. What is this radio for? Everyone knows what radio is for. It's for listening to podcasts. And that's music-y stuff. But mostly podcasts. No, this is not an interrogation episode. I am not going to talk to you and I'm not going to listen to your words. Now, I remember Veclores saying something about Mr. Blue Sky, which is a very famous song made by Electric Lights Orchestra, also known as ELO, who made Turn to Stone. This proves that Veclores was a fan of Electric Lights Orchestra. This is a black cross with a mind of its own. Now, you think of an object with a mind of its own. Where does it take you? Oh, you know well where it takes you. It takes you to the SCP Foundation. Yes, this thing is an SCP. Of course, an undiscovered SCP, but an SCP at that. It's a cross, or a lowercase t if you're atheist. And crosses and lowercase t's, they originate from Christianity. No, I am not reading your words. Despite the chat being fixed, I am not reading your words. Also, hello. Being rude is bad, I'm trying to change my ways. So you think, what is related to Christianity and the SCP Foundation? I know! It's that fan service SCP person! My goodness! What an idea! Why didn't I think of that? But how would... Okay. But how would Veclores, an Electric Lights Orchestra listener and a Christian, end up with amnesia? Well, in one of the SCP games and or that SCP Containment Breach game, not our breach and not Secret Laboratory, the main character, the player, he was a staff person and he interacted with a sheet with words that went scrollety scrollety. This lets the person respawn like Subaru does in Ray Zero every time he dies. Also, The main character, he had amnesia. Not because of the scroll thing, but because he was fed with anesthetics, which completely destroyed him, because he apparently did something bad to the Foundation, and he was declared a D-class. Speaking of which, what is that? In capital letters, explain. A space station. As you can see why it's a space station, it's a ball with two things on it. Okay, one of the stone people, they declared it. This is a space station. Okay. This is valuable information. Too blurry. I can't see a thing. Anyways, about the cross, I have a theory that Veclores was it's normal. It's a blurred space station. I have a theory that Veclores was in fact working for the SCP Foundation, and he interacted with a bad cross because it was cursed by an SCP of some kind, which is like all new and custom, so this entire thing would get copyrighted, because I don't know, I don't like copying. Have I ever seen a ghost before? There was that one time when a ghost threw every single piece of furniture in a school into the front door of a school, and I was told to leave the building because apparently we only saw paranormal activity happen and a person die. Oh, okay. This person has seen a paranormal activity, which will be valuable information. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Yeah, it's valuable information. No! Valuable information. But no, look at what you have done. You have invited all these thoughts to the place. This one's not even wearing any pants. What have you done? What have you done? Yeah, I can see that. I have to continue my research in. As you can see, he is wearing a hat and a scarf. This proves that he was doing his SCP research in a bad place. Like a very bad place. Bad as in cold. And he has an eye sunglass, an eye patch, which is acquired by veterans, which explains and backs up my theory that this person is a veteran related to the SCP Foundation. With this cross, he managed to survive the containment breach and run off into the cold. One of the guards was like, no, I am going to shoot you in the eye. Bang! And he was like, ah! The cross was like, no, I do not like that. And it went and teleported him to this strange place. And the cross was like, oh yeah, if you touch this water, you'll forget everything. This bullet impacted your brain and shuffled everything around. You no longer remember what you're doing. Typically, the eye is connected to the brain. It would make sense why you would lose your memories if you were shot in the eye. Of course, that'd be at a certain angle with a certain velocity of the bullet, which is a miracle. The cross went and teleported him to this place, where he realized he wasn't the only cool person. These people were before him. These people are like the D-class people who died from the cross. The cross was like, no, you're ugly, you're not a main character. This person has a hat, he is a main character. This is the International Space Station. It doesn't look like the International Space Station, but this is the International Space Station. Or perhaps it's that blocky level from Super Mario Galaxy, but it's the International Space Station. This means that we are somewhere in space, and there is no blue planet other than Neptune. And your anus. But that's a bad thing to say. My anus is brown, not blue. And you might be wondering, why are these people sad? Well, not boxer person, but why is Veclores, Nurlwind, and Veclores, why are they so sad? Well, it's simple. All of this grey has gotten into their minds. Because sad backstory. You have a sad backstory, you're sad for life. Also, if you have a sad backstory, you know how to handle weapons and guns. And you become an anime character. He used to listen to Electric Light's Orchestra a lot. During his shifts as an employee, and then later on went to become a D-class. Don't talk about my outfit. And that is all I can conjure as information of this guy's past. Kinda jealous of how fine you look. Just kidding, just kidding. This lighting makes your teeth look like they stand out. I need more information to further my thesis. So I must give you all an example of what happens if you jump into this water. I have been forgotten. This is one of Veclores' game. It's called Nowhere and it is based on absolutely nothing. But here's the question. Why does it exist? Well, it is quite simple. It's to show that his place in the SCP Foundation was placed in the middle of nowhere and it was constantly being watched by the O5 Council, which represents this big guy here. And basically, he only had a limited place of movement, which shows this platform, as well as the constant whiteness, because the entrance zone is always white. Because that's how labs work. It also represents the bathroom, because scientists are not allowed to go to the bathroom, because that is very rude. And because my character's head keeps shaking, that explains his insanity of the whole whiteness and the constant brightness of my character, because your eyes get adjusted to the dark when you're underground, I think. Another theory I have on the whole Rocky Stone function. Electric Light's orchestra has a very famous song called I Turn to Stone, and it goes a little something like this. I turn to stone when you are gone. I turn to stone. Down, 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 turn to stone when you're coming home. I can't go on. And that goes on like that, but much better quality. And basically, somebody was gone, which made you turn to stone. This is why Veclores, Nerlwind, and Veclores' girlfriend is all made of stone. Sick lighting. The reason why he turned to stone is because somebody was gone. Who was that person who was gone? None other than that damsel in distress. Yes. And he's going to keep turning to stone unless he finds all the 4 materials to save the damsel in distress so he can get 20% off all chicken nugget purchases. Or if he's vegan, apples. And he is very desperate because of that exact reason. And that concludes my analysis.